It's another Raw video from your favorite YouTube scout, Draftrawthentic. Yes, I'm finally here making another video, and like I said, it's a Raw one, so there will be no edits. Anyway, we're on the last leg for the 32 for 32 draft breakdown series, where I do a draft breakdown for 32 teams for 32 days. Yes, it's been almost 32 days as I'm making this video. And it's a draft breakdown for each and every NFL team. Now, as you can tell by the title, this will be about the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, the Falcons. And like I said, I'm on my last leg. And what that actually means is that if you're seeing this video, I've already pretty much done all the divisions except for I'm in the NFC South. This is the last division I'm doing. And if, like I said, you're seeing this video, I've already done the Panthers and I've already done the Buccaneers. So now, let's just get into it. The Atlanta Falcons, with the first pick, the Falcons selected Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, Alabama. Now, if you're a Falcons fan watching this, and if you're just a fan of the draft and you know some of these guys and the receivers and stuff like that, then you already know who Calvin Ridley is and what he can do for you. I technically really don't need to go into details about Calvin Ridley. Ridley is a guy that I can say at first, it was one of those things that he was a guy that wasn't expected to be there when the Falcons picked. And he ended up being there. I mean, when it was all first said, and then the combine happened, and he dropped down a little bit, but you didn't think he would drop down too far. But then he still ends up going to the Falcons late first round. Now, with Ridley is one of those guys that, to me, he's such a great route runner. He's so explosive. He's got solid hands, but there's certain times where I've seen him had these drops where it's like, you're supposed to be the number one target, the number one receiver for Alabama. You have to make those plays, and it's college football. You have to make them. In the NFL, it's even greater than that, but in college, it's just like a drop here, too. It's like, you won't really think about it, but in the NFL, when that type of stuff happens, every catch matters, and you have to make those type of catches. He's not a guy that's just going to drop a bunch of passes, no. But there was some situations, I forgot which game. It may have been the Georgia game, or was it the national championship game, where he had some drops that were a little uncharacteristic, but it was something that when I do these players, when I break down their drafts and going as them as the prospect, I look at a lot of different things, especially the guys that are supposed to be the first-round pick. I go deep, and when I see that type of stuff, I got to knock something off of you. So for him dropping, and then after the combine, they say he wasn't that explosive. The combine numbers didn't matter to me. I saw a lot of explosion on tape, so it's not even a big deal. But when looking at that, I did drop him down a little bit. And when it was all said and done, when I first even did this, I didn't even have him as the number one receiver. I had Courtland Sutton as my number one, and DJ Moore as my number two. Calvin Ridley was there at number three. So it gives you some type of perspective of where I had him, and then where he went in the draft, and how it can kind of correlate to him dropping in the draft the way he did, not how people thought he would because of the way the media put him out there. But I can say this, Calvin Ridley is a good, solid receiver. I think that he's better as a slot receiver than he is as an outside receiver, but he is a guy that can play on the outside. I believe that for the Falcons, for them already having Mohamed Sanu and Julio Jones, he's going to fit perfectly for that team as a slot receiver. He's definitely not going to play on the outside, especially, I'll say unless Julio Jones situation, unless that kind of turns a little awkward and, something happens where he ends up not playing us. I don't know what the situation is with that, but then Calvin Ridley will have to be on the outside. But he's one of those guys that on a third down, he needs to be in a slot. He's going to make plays. He's explosive. He's got solid hands. He's got the speed. He's got the route running skills. That's where he's going to be. And that's pretty much the type of receiver that he is. So I'm going to just skip that. I know I just went about 2 minutes going into Calvin Ridley, but just to give you perspective. Then in the second round, their next pick, they chose Isaiah Oliver, a cornerback from Colorado. This is a guy that I felt as though he had a lot of potential. And the thing that the Falcons have been pretty solid at in the past couple of years has been getting defensive back. Actually, they've been pretty good at that for a while now. But Isaiah Oliver is a type of player that I believe that he's got a lot of intangibles. He's got a lot of things to like about him with his speed and his size, but he's one of those guys that he needs to put it all together with a coaching staff that can really give him all the pointers that he needs and get him consistent enough with his foot back pedal, with being able to press a guy. I think he presses people a lot. He uses a lot of athleticism. When you see him, the ball skills are there, all of that. But you want to see it all come together. That's why he was a second round pick. You want it to be more consistent when it comes to a guy like Isaiah Oliver. But I can tell you, he's the type of dude that, the way where the Falcons are going, you have Desmond Trufant, you have Robert Alford. I'm not sure who the other corners out there. I just definitely know the starting corners because I was a huge Desmond Trufant fan. With Isaiah Oliver in the mix, one of those guys will need to go on the slot if he's going to be a starter, and Isaiah Oliver on the outside, and it will make a really good combination. I'm guessing that will be Robert Alford in the slot with the two, Desmond, who's a beast, and Isaiah Oliver, who's got the size, and he's hard to actually run past. You're going to have a good combination, a good solid team, and just a good defensive back core, especially with even your safeties with Keanu Neal and stuff like that. So Isaiah Oliver, it was a solid pick. I wouldn't say it's a great pick, but it's not like a bad pick as well. So with their next pick, they chose Deidre Sanat. I used two different draft websites that give me prospects to watch. His name never popped up in any of them. I know it's crazy because he's from South Florida and he's a third round pick, so you would expect to see his name up there. And honestly, most of the time I would remember if I typed in this person's name and if I actually got some video on him, and I didn't get any video on him. So it's one of those things, maybe it's too early. Maybe I should have waited a little bit. But I can definitely say this. Like I said, using those two websites, it's nothing I can do. So I'm sorry I can't give a draft breakdown for this prospect. But, it is what it is. And I'm not going to read something to give you someone else's opinion on this type of player. So let's just get to the next pick. Their next pick was in the fourth round, and that was Ito Smith. I liked Ito Smith, and I liked him a lot from, I believe, Southern Miss, right? And I was watching tape on Corey Robertson from Southern Miss, wide receiver, who I was a huge fan of. And I saw Ito Smith, and I was just like, oh. And I seen his name on both the websites, so I'm like, oh, I definitely got to watch this guy. And he's got some ability. I think he's a 3-down type of running back. I think that he's pretty much in the mold of what you already have in the Devontae Freeman, who was a favorite pick of mine. Tevin Coleman, he's the type of running back that is literally exactly like those guys. So I think that what the Falcons are doing is that they're just restocking on that type of running back type player where if Freeman gets hurt or if Coleman gets hurt, Ito Smith you put in, and he's not going to really miss too much of a beat. The only thing that's going to stop him is that if he doesn't get the game mentally as quick enough as he should. That's mostly the only thing that stops a lot of prospects. It's just mentally getting the game. It's never the physical stuff, because all of these prospects are physically great and talented with athletic ability. It's the mental stuff, and it's the game speed, the instincts, making the cuts or shooting the gap or whatever it is, whatever position you play. So with Ito Smith, you pretty much got that same type of mode of a running back, which is going to be good for the Atlanta Falcons. And then with the next two picks, same thing with the third round pick, Deidre Sanat. When it came to Russell Gage, I didn't watch him. I'm sorry. There was just a guy. I think I seen his name. I just didn't watch him. That's most of the LSU receivers. I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't watch them, period, but most of the LSU receivers nothing was really going on. And DJ Shark was probably the only one that was really making plays. And then the last pick that they had in the sixth round, Foyesade Okun, I don't know, linebacker from Yale. I don't even know what to say about him. But so, I mean, it is what it is. But overall, I think that the Atlanta Falcons had a pretty good draft. But out of their 6 picks, I only really studied 3 of these guys. So I can't really give you much about most of the other picks, but I can say that out of those three guys, they are pretty good players, and they're not players that I would say will be terrible in the league. So anyway, if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more draft breakdowns from me and talk about the Atlanta Falcons more, please subscribe to the channel. If you didn't like what I had to say about any of these draft picks, please comment so we can debate, and please share this video so other people can comment. We can all debate, and we can build this big draft community that I'm trying to build for this channel. So once again, this is Draft Raw Authentic. I thank you for watching. Goodbye.